Well, good morning YouTube. I know it's been rather a lot longer than the fortnight promised, but work, winter, what have you. I'm here now, so sorry for the delay, but look, I'm back. So I know what you all want to know. If you don't already know, if you follow me on Instagram or you know me, you'll already know. But for those of you who don't follow me on Instagram or don't know me, that don't know, well, what did I replace the Renault with? Well, this, of course. I know. You can't tell from this angle. Well, you might be able to. It is this. Seat Leon FR. It's it. Also Addicts. Oh, here it is. It's a weird colour actually. It's sort of a pearlescent white. I wasn't sure about it when I first got it, but it has sort of grown on me. It doesn't really show up that well in this light, but anyway, it is the 1.5 TSI 16 valve petrol engine. It's around 130 brake horsepower with 148 foot-pounds of torque. 9.1 to 60. About 45 mpg, top speed of 126, 110 grams per kilometre of emissions, giving it a Euro 6 rating. So there's the gump out of the way. What do I like about it? Well, I like the LED headlights. I quite like the look of the mirrors. 17-inch alloys. It's lowered 15mm than the standard ones. There's this horrible knocking noise. I don't know if you can hear this. Don't know how well that comes across, but when it drops down into 2-cylinder mode or eco mode, it sounds like the, I don't know, a bottom end knock or something. But anyway, it's got reasonable alloys on it. Nice hearing. I don't know if it shows up, how well it shows up. Got a sort of pearlescent metallic white colour. It's quite neat. I like the way you open the boot using the badge, and it's not a bad size boot. Portable battery's falling out. Yeah, obviously I've got mine full of stuff, but it's not a bad size. And I like the fact you can put the seats down from back here. Fuel cap there. I don't know how well the paint shows up, but it's not a bad colour actually. In the back it's fairly basic. Electric windows. You've got some air vents there, some USB ports, back pockets, centre armrest and some cup holders, and obviously you've got a thing there to go through to the boot. Nice easy access, ice point fixers for kids. In the FR we get twin exhausts. So here you see everything there, and then it drops down to 2-cylinder mode. Although fuel consumption actually, you know, for a petrol, it's not bad. We ease off here and that will any second, maybe. There we go, 2-cylinder mode, eco. Not sure if I like the idea, but hey ho. Inside, nice clear display. Get some red stitching on the leather because FR. Yeah, heater stuff. There's all nice buttons down here, nice and easy to use. we do have. So there's the nighttime thing. There's me parking sensor doing silly buggers. There we go, let's get rid of that, put that up there. So it's all sort of lit up, even the little cubby box down here lit up. Footwells lit up. Some blue, or whatever colour you want on there. So yeah, it's nice to actually have physical things. This is not as bright as it looks. The camera is obviously adjusting for the poor light, so my hand is not this lit up. But yeah, you can see all the red. It's all lit up red. Steering wheel, all the door controls, all up here. I'm not sure what these two lights here are. I shall have to investigate what these two little LEDs do. But yeah, so and even when you open the door, apart from the beeping, the FR on the door skin, on the sill cover, lights up. Let's get rid of the beeping. So yeah. So here's one annoyance, if my passenger will hold the phone steady. There you've got the route planner. It works from the bottom up, so my next manoeuvre will be, move the phone out the way a sec, 3.7 miles to a roundabout, and then it's the next one up, and then the one up the top. Why does it work from the bottom up? Surely it should work from the top down, like most usual things. It's rather annoying. I do quite like this. Don't ask me why, just a bit weird. But the fact that, although it's digital, if you look carefully, that does scroll up, imitating an actual physical moving number. I call me weird, but I like that. So anyway, now you've had a look around the outside, what's it like to drive? Do I prefer it to the Renault? Oh yes! Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Well, obviously this video's taken a bit longer than initial, the initial fortnight I said, so it's actually been, what of it's the end of September, so October, November, December, Jan, so 4 months. I've had this now, and I've done 12,500 miles. So I've had plenty of time to decide whether or not I like it. I do. I've not been one of these people that's been, you know, a big Volkswagen fan. I've never really seen the fuss about Volkswagens. Now I know this is a Seat, but it is basically a Golf under the skin, isn't it? It's a Spanish Golf, basically. And actually, you can really see, it feels so much more solid. It feels better put together. Everything's just feels nicer. No creaks, no rattles. The ergonomics are nice. Being the FR, it's got quite harsh suspension, but you know, not uncomfortably so, just enough to make it feel sporty, enough for it to go round bends nicely. This is the 1.5 turbo petrol. You've seen it probably. The TSI, is it? I think something like that. It's about 140 brake-ish, thereabouts, depending on what you read. Anywhere between sort of 138 and 140, and it's pretty nippy. You know, don't get me wrong, it's no Ferrari, but it's pretty nippy. It gets up to the speed limit pretty quickly. mid-range is good for overtaking. Obviously being a turbo, you do need to keep the revs up a little bit, but in a petrol like this, that's quite easy. It drives really nicely. The steering is excellent, the gearbox is excellent, the pedals, you can see here, are a little bit offset. I'm not so keen on that. How well you can see this, but there is the centre, and you can see that sort of level with the clutch pedal. Everything is centre, oops, and everything is sort of very off centre, but that's about it. And the steering wheel is slightly offset, but you know, these are minor niggles. The spacing of the pedals is fine for heel and toe. The brakes feel nice and progressive. There's no real dead spots there. There's feel to them. Like a lot of modern cars, the clutch hasn't got the feel to it that an older vehicle would have, but it's still nice, still easy to use. It goes round corners nicely. It really does. It feels secure. Now obviously I've not pushed it to the limits. I drive on public roads, but I've pushed it hard enough to know that the car's limits are further than what you'll ever use on a public road. It really does feel nice. As I said earlier, it doesn't creak and rattle over the bumps. It is a bit harsh being the FR, the sporty one. But yeah, the seats are nice. They're nicely supportive. Like most modern cars, perhaps slightly firmer than I'd really like. But you know, on the whole, it's good. Equipment-wise, it's not as high as the Renault was. I don't have rear view cameras, I don't have automatic dipping lights and all that sort of jazz, but I don't like all that stuff anyway. I've got front and rear parking sensors, that's plenty good enough. I've got a smaller screen, but that's plenty good enough. I've got all the kit I want basically. Decent aircon, much easier to use than the Renault's was. Everything's much more intuitive. Even if you may remember, one of my pet hates with the Renault was the position of the electric window switches. They just fall to hand. They're exactly where you want them to be. The steering wheel feels nice with this perforated leather, the red stitching. It's all just a very nice car to drive. Even like the indicator sound. What don't I like about it? Well, there's not really that much, if I'm honest. I think in a car of this price point, the fact the rear mirror, the wing mirrors are not heated, I think is a bit of a letdown. They're electric, they fold in and out when you lock the car, but they're not heated. I think that's a bit off. There really isn't that much I don't like about it. Now honestly, I'm looking around and the lack of heated wing mirrors is about it, and the pedals being slightly off. Honestly, that is pretty much all I can fault. It does seem to jerk a little bit at slow speeds when it's cold, bit of kangarooing, but that disappears as it warms up. No, it is just a very nice car to drive. Enough kit that you need, not so much to be silly, but whereas the Renault always felt like it had a lot of kit, but it was almost to cover up for the fact that it just wasn't screwed together properly. You don't have that feeling with this. It feels nicely put together. Everything feels solid. There's no creaks and rattles. The materials are nice. Everywhere you feel, the materials are nice. Yeah, there are some dodgy plastics further down, but everywhere that as a driver you would touch feels nice. I've just found one other thing I don't like about it. If you brake not even that hard, that wasn't a particularly hard brake, but you do get the silly thing pop up telling you you're about to have a collision, which can be a bit annoying. One other thing that has just reminded me, when you're reversing up to say something like a hedge, as I do regularly at home, not so bad this time of year, but in the summer when you've got, or you know, when it's not like it is at the moment, where you still have some leaves on things, if a leaf or something is sticking out a little way, it will jam on the brakes as you're reversing up to said hedge, thinking you're about to hit something when you're still about 2 feet away from it. That can be a bit annoying. You can get around it by just very gently creeping past it, but if you forget and you're just sort of reversing, because there is space, it will jam its brakes on and come to a rather sudden halt. So I will do a full review later on when my throat's a bit better. But in the meantime, now you know what I've got. What do you think? What are your thoughts? Have you had one of these? What do you think about them? Reliability wise, so far it's been fine. But yeah, so I'll leave it there for now. As always, like, comment and subscribe. Tell me what your thoughts are below, and I'll see you in a fortnight for another one. I promise. Ta-da!